qualifying for the Quick Performance World Fuel Altered Nationals. So our low ET right now is a 427 by Jeff Woolard, 427. We'll see if any of these entries can hold that or run quicker than that. David Schaefer's been patiently waiting. He's already staged up. Roger Lindebergh hasn't even went into the pre-stage beam yet. As we get ready under a full moon for our next pair of qualifying here at the Quick Performance World Fuel Altered Nationals. Look at that! All the way down to the top end. 4 flat. Unbelievable. Misses the 3-second run by 1/10,000th of a second. Runs 4.000 at 191.82 miles per hour to go to the number 1 spot. Roger Radar Lechtenberg. Woo! Put your hands together for Radar and Nitro Madness. Looks like both cars already cleared the top end of the racetrack, so we're going to get into slinging side-by-side racing action here. 4 flat. Can you believe we missed the 3-second by 1/10,000th of a second? Well, we're going to get a 3-second yet tonight. As Radar talked about, when it's this humid out, it's very hard to get the performance out of the cars you're hoping for. So tomorrow we're likely going to run better as the conditions are going to be improving tomorrow with less humidity in the air. Neil Hinman on a Belmont, Iowa, Nitro. And up against him, Neil Garai out of Mount Illinois, the 23 Ford Roadster with a Mopar motor. So we got an Ellen Johnson Hemi on Nitro here in the Tower Lane against a 23 Ford with the Mopar alcohol entry on the Quick Performance side. Now your number 1 qualifier, Roger Radar Lechtenberg out of Cedar Falls, Iowa in the Nitro Madness at a 4.000 run. He's in your number 1 spot. But Neil Hinman, he can go to number 1 and run the first 3-second run here at the World Fuel Altered Nationals 2021. Gotta love the header flames coming out of the Neil Hinman entry here in the Tower Lane, the Renegade Performance side of the track. And Neil Garai out of Mount Illinois in his Mopar entry, alcohol entry on the Quick Performance side. Thunder in the pipes. Qualifying continues. The Quick Performance World Fuel Altered Nationals. Hinman off to a big lead all the way through the top end. 396. There it is, our number 1 qualifier, 396, 194 miles per hour. Neil Garai goes 464, a good run at 147. But Neil Hinman from Belmont, Iowa goes to the number 1 spot, 396, 194.97 miles per hour. For the Bad Habit Fuel Altered, put your hands together, fans. They need to hear it down here. Bad Habit goes to number 1.
And I don't think that's going to be the last 3-second pass we see tonight, Scott. Do you?
Oh, no, but I hope not. I love 3-second runs, and, man, he left rather soft off at 330 and down through the 668th mile to go 100 and nearly 95 miles an hour. Hinman's your number 1 qualifier at 396, followed by Roger Radar Lechtenberg at 4 flat. I love those burnouts. Wow. Side-by-side alcohol entries. Justin Schaefer, the son of David Schaefer, who was up here earlier out of Lincoln, Illinois, the 32 Banton with a small box Chevrolet. He's in the tower lane up against Kurt Duckworth, all the way from West Virginia, the 38 Fiat. Beautiful entry over there on the quick performance side of the track. Both cars are actually very cool cars. There's no doubt about it. But you gotta love the beautiful paint job on the Chaos car of Kirk Duckworth out of West Virginia. Kirk Duckworth into the stage of beams. Here comes Justin Schaefer. Here we go, side by side. Wheels up in the air, had to get out of the throttle, down to the top end for Duckworth. 462 goes through at 152 miles an hour. Justin Schaefer had his hands full, wheels way up in the air here in the tower lane, drove to the center line, had to get out of the throttle and bring the car back under control. Kurt Duckworth goes 462 at 152 miles an hour. Nice pass for that alcohol entry out of West Virginia. Word at the top end is we're all clear and ready for our next pair as we continue in qualifying here at the Quick Performance World Fuel Alter Nationals here at Eddyville Raceway Park. Welcome everybody on the World Wide Web through Flow Racing. Joining us here tonight, Sudden Death. The Sudden Death Fuel Altered coming up of Bill Seals. Up against Cody Chadfield in the Booze Brothers entry out of both these guys out of Missouri, Raytown and Raymore, Missouri, right beside each other, I believe. Is that not correct? In the Kansas City area? Oh, come on, Ron. You know you live there. I know where Raymore is. Okay, well, we're going to say they're side by side because we don't know any better. But a good matchup here, a 32 Baton against a 23T as we continue in side by side qualifying. Bill Seals and Cody Chadfield, side-by-side Missouri alcohol racing entries. We continue here in qualifying. It's Quick Performance World Fuel Altered Nationals. Both cars out, both had to get out of the throttle. Back and forth, it still runs 487, 140 miles an hour for Bill Seals. As he was in and out of the throttle, that car went right to the center line, corrected it back, still went 487, 140. Cody Chadfield was out on a pretty good pass, but had to click it off, shut it off about the 330, coast through 568 at 80 miles an hour. If you call coasting 80 miles an hour, we do tonight. So that'll put them both onto the ladder, but probably not where they want to be qualified at. And that's why we have another qualifying session here tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the afternoon as we continue here at the Quick Performance World Fuel Altered Nationals. Word from the top end is we need to clear a little bit around the corner there before we can send the next fuel alter down the track. This is Johnny Lindebergh coming at us. Johnny Lindebergh of racing. You're probably somewhat familiar with his name if you've been involved in watching NHRA drag racing over the years. Johnny Lindebergh, former driver of the Jim Head Nitro Funny Car, and former alcohol funny car world champion in NHRA. This is your number one. He's got the big number one on the side of the car. This is your defending champion. This is your the fuel altered champion from down south in the fuel altered circuit. So this means business here. This is Johnny Lindebergh has the big number 1. They out of Texas with the 23T. Of course, this car champion in the Outlaw Fuel Altered Association, sponsored by Icon Pistons, Meyer Enterprises, and Low Star Forklift. And he is the big number 1, and he is a nitro burner, and they just got the clearance to fire this car. Johnny Lindebergh, our last-minute entry driver here for this particular entry. As the normal driver for the team, the Bushwhacker could not drive. He had a little cancer diagnosis earlier this year and has not been cleared from the doctor. Went through the surgery doing very well. You actually see him working on the car. That's Jody. So he's out there doing the final adjustments, and the driver, Johnny Lindebergh, who's driven about every type of car, went on the Hot Rod Speed Weeks, alcohol funny cars, nitro funny cars, and now nitro fuel altered. So Jody Austin, the owner of this car and the champion last year in both this event and the Outlaw Fuel Altered Association. Sub-driver Johnny Lindebergh from Indianapolis, Indiana, and actually from Sweden behind the wheel tonight here. Are we ready for another 3-second run? I believe we are. If it's going to happen, it's probably going to happen right here and right now. Out of Texas, Jody Smart entry, and Johnny Lindebergh behind the wheel. Jody Austin's entry to the top end. Look at that, 370, 3.70, 203 miles an hour. That is it, ladies and gentlemen, 3.70 to the top right there at 203 miles an hour, and around the corner shoots out all good and clean, Ron.
I tell you what, I thought we'd see another 3 second. I didn't know we were going to see a 370.
3.70, 203.90 miles an hour for Johnny Lindebergh, who will now go to the number 1 position. Unbelievable. He told me that Bushwhacker car is serious business. I have no doubt about it when I saw it make that pass. Unbelievable pass down the track. Already cleared the top end. Jody Austin, congratulations to him and his team for grabbing that number 1 spot.
And that car went straight down the 8th mile like an arrow, too.
Don Wilcox out of Independence, Missouri, just did the burnout here in the Renegade fuel lane. And Weekend Stripper out of Nebraska, Paul Steyer, beautiful burnout. 48 Fiat out of Nebraska, that is the Weekend Stripper over on the quick performance side of the racetrack. Out of Independence, Missouri, this is the 540 cubic inch Chrysler Dart motor, the altered out of Missouri, Don Wilcox here in the Tower Renegade lane as we continue here in fuel altered qualifying. at the Quick Performance World Fuel Altered National. Pair of alcohol burners side by side as Don Wilcox works his way into the pre-stage beam here in the Tower Renegade lane up against Paul Steyer out of Nebraska. His 48 Fiat, beautiful weekend stripper. Final adjustments as they roll into the Quick Performance side of the racetrack. We continue in qualifying here at Quick Performance World Fuel Altered National. In and out of the throttles, a shutoff for the Tower lane down through the top end. Steyer runs 477, 144 miles an hour. Nice run, but no matchup for that 370, 1 second faster run for Johnny Lindebergh. Wow. So down at the top end, we got to clear a couple of cars, and we'll have our final pair to fire up, which is a nitro. I know at least one of these is a nitro entry. I think it's a nitro and an alcohol entry. That'll wrap up qualifying here tonight for the Fuel Altered Nationals, brought to you by Quick Performance. So one pair left. Can they go to number one? I don't know. We'll find out here. But right now, Johnny Lindebergh does hold that number one spot with a 3.70, 203.90 miles an hour, and the cars fire up. The Mighty Mouse. This is a small block Chevrolet on nitromethane. Here, in the Tower, Renegade side, and the Bad Moon Rising Fuel Altered. Wow, I love Fuel Altered racing. This is Anthony Whitfield out of Kansas, 400 cubic inch small block Chevrolet, 23 years old, works on this car, drives this car, does the whole 9 yards, him and his wife, here in the Tower side of the racetrack, up against Steve Fowler out of Arizona. Made a big trip here in his 32 Bantam to come run with us, the Bad Moon Rising. Both of these cars on nitromethane, side by side, nitro burners. Great way to end the night. Can anybody run a 370? I don't know. That's low AT, that's top speed right now here at the event. Final adjustments, Mighty Mouse against the big block Chevrolet, Nitro versus Nitro. Final pair, Quick Performance World, Fuel Altered National. There we go, bouncing all over the racetrack. Unbelievable. Anthony runs 418, 177 miles an hour, a great pass. Steve Fowler was all over the racetrack with that nitro entry out of Arizona, runs only a 780 at 47 miles per hour. But the Mighty Mouse, that is a small block Chevrolet, runs 418, 177 miles an hour. A great performance to wrap up qualifying here tonight, Friday night at the Quick Performance World Fuel Altered Nationals.